All right, everybody. Jason Sloan here with Furtado Law Solutions, and we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And today we have a special guest, Tara Lane, with Design Health. How you doing today, Tara?
I am doing wonderful, Jason. Thanks so much for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great. Is your food poisoning doing better?
Well, we're hanging in there. Let's hope I don't puke on the screen today, and we'll save everybody their lunchtime, huh?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's get to it. Can you give me a little bit about your background, personal and business?
Yeah, so I am a native of Colorado. I'm a fifth-year generation out of Durango, Colorado, down in the southwestern states, so literally in the corner of Colorado. And I graduated from Fort Morgan back in 2008, so I went from the very low part of Colorado all the way to the Eastern Plains, which was a huge culture shock. Went from the mountains to cows. So that was very interesting. And then I moved to Denver in 2008 to go to Metro State, which then I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Marketing. And I was actually one of the first classes that graduated from the university when that changed. So that was awesome. And then straight out of college, I did some expert witness work for some attorneys. So what I would do is find expert witnesses for plaintiff and defense attorneys, and traveled all over the country. And if anybody has ever traveled for work and not pleasure, it's totally different. So I definitely wanted, I was in my early 20s and I definitely wanted something more grounded. I didn't really like traveling a ton after that. So I found myself in Colorado Springs, which is kind of where I landed into insurance, which I started that probably about 7 years ago. So that's where I'm at today.
Okay. And then how long have you been with the company you're with currently?
Yeah, actually, so interesting story. So I moved to Colorado Springs out of college and was a receptionist at our sister company called Accelerated Wealth down in Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for a little bit. I was single in Colorado Springs and I was young. Again, it's a great place to live, but if you don't have kids and you're not married, it's really a hard place to find community. So I ended up moving back to Denver, which I started at Design Health back in 2015. Left for a little bit for about a year and then came back. So I've really been with the company for around 7 years, but since I've been back, it's been about 5. So it's been awesome.
Okay, great. All right. Well, let's see. I think that goes over, your background and everything. Oh, here's a good one. What do you do when you're not working?
Oh, that is a good one. So I just recently got married. So my husband and I got married in June. We are COVID couple. So we were supposed to get married back June 2020, but I think COVID changed plans for everybody. And so we're like I mentioned, I'm from Colorado, so I love anything for the mountains. So I love to hike, love to go fishing. My husband, actually, his family runs a fly fishing lodge in Montana. So we get to go there quite often, which is awesome. I love to ride 4-wheelers. We also ride Harley Davidsons. So we like to go to the biker rallies and support on those. So if anybody's been down to Durango Biker Rally, we usually go to that one every year. I love to work out. So I'm a very healthy person, love to stay active. When I was actually growing up my whole life, since I was a little girl, played softball, basketball. And so I really try to incorporate movement in my everyday life. I think that that's what keeps me sane. So yes, I love to be outdoors, and we actually just made the move to beautiful Spokane, Washington, which I still operate and work out of Colorado, but I get to go back home all the time and get to live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And so if you've ever been to the Pacific Northwest, anybody watching, it is literally an outdoorsman's paradise. So if you like to golf, fish, hike, snowmobile, this is the countryside for you. So anything outdoors, I'm on too. So I love it.
Not too many people like Denver anymore.
Well, that's the thing. It's like in Colorado, I'm a 5-generation native to there. In Durango, growing up there, I mean, we could run amok. Like you literally could run around, you didn't come home until the lights turned on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's just, yeah, we love to just go outdoors.
Nice. Yeah, I was just referring to how like it seems like Colorado just so many people have moved in that it's not what it used to be.
Well, and you can't go to the mountains anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes like, that's where you're going. I was kind of losing my train of thought there. Sorry for my
no problem.
here. So no, so that's exactly like when we go snowboarding. I mean, you would have to leave, 4 a.m. to get there at 8, and then you got to leave at 2 to get home at 8 p.m. from the mountains. So Colorado is not the same anymore. But surprisingly, I mean, up here in the Pacific Northwest, I mean, we're right on the border of Idaho, and up here, I mean, it's growing just as fast. So not quite as Denver, but yeah, anywhere in Colorado is just insane. I mean, really, and you can't really call outdoors anymore. It's like you go to a fishing spot and it's all outfished, or you've got 15,000 people doing the exact same thing you are.
There's a few spots in Colorado I know about that I've got in this.
You're not going to mention, though, are you?
I'm not going to tell anybody where. They got to be one of my best friends for me to take them there blindfolded.
I know, and that's what I say. I'm like, guys, stop posting like where you're at. Like, that's why these spots are getting ruined. It's like, stop telling everybody where you're going.
Yeah.
So anytime, like, and I'm actually a big advocate of that. I literally will not post where I'm at, especially like even up here, because I don't want to like ruin the good spots, because that's what happens in Colorado. So
yeah, people want to be Facebook, Instagram famous, and then I don't know if they're actually becoming famous or they're just making the where they're at famous. So understood. So all right, let's get down to what we really came down here for. To go over health insurance because of open enrollment. So, for your services, do you charge a fee for your services?
So nope. So with Design Health, we're a local-based company out of Denver, Colorado. Our office is actually in Centennial, and so we've been around for, I believe, I think coming on like 12 years. But no, we do not charge a fee for our services. We are paid a commission from the carrier, but none of that's tacked on to the premiums. Those are typically preset. So for example, on the individual market, your premium is based on your age, your geographic location, and tobacco use. So you can't get a better rate with me that you could get with, Jason Sloan down the street or direct to the carrier. It literally is based on that. So our commissions are embedded through that. But again, I mean, none of that's put onto the individual.
Okay. Yeah. And I learned that a few years ago with Connect Colorado. I was like, this is such a pain in the butt. And then somebody was like, oh, I have a friend. And, so that worked out pretty good. And it's just like, basically most of your insurance is life insurance, car insurance, casualty, everything like that. You're paying what you're paying, but your job is different. You guys are basically like a broker, right? Basically, you shop the plans that somebody can look at for themselves, but you're able to understand them because you have, that's just your job, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we really pride ourselves on educating, and we're kind of a little bit different where we take tech on. We use technology to our advantage in our system. So all of our appointments are done over the phone and in front of the computer. And as you mentioned too, Jason, we actually do work with Connect for Health Colorado. So if there's the Colorado's Connect for Health Colorado, but if there's other states, it's healthcare.gov. I do work with multiple marketplaces, whether if you're in Colorado or not, we could shop plans. And typically when you need to shop through the marketplace or through healthcare.gov, your family size and income level may allow you to get to what they call tax credits through the state, which then will decrease your premium. So again, I assist with that, but you're absolutely correct. We are a brokerage. So we work with multiple carriers. I don't work with just one. Okay, so our jobs really is to educate our clients, and depending on your doctors, your prescriptions, we actually have a full concierge team that our clients can use. Again, still no charge. But if you have billing issues or claim issues or whatever it is pertaining to your insurance, we have a full in-house team that can assist with all those issues. So Jason, you go into the doctor's office, you break your leg, you had insurance, but then you get this astronomical bill and you're like, what the heck, what's happening? Well, instead of you calling the insurance carrier and spending hours on the phone, getting the runaround, trying to figure out your bill. Was it the doctor's office that coded it wrong? Was the insurance carrier that coded it wrong? My team actually internal helps with all of that. So literally from start to finish, we assist with the enrollment process. So if you have doctors or prescriptions, we got a full research team that will look at those prior to our appointment. And then that way, when we are on our appointment over the phone and in front of your computer, we can actually review the carriers that cover your doctors the best and your prescriptions the best. That way you're making the best and informed decision for your family and yourself when you're getting into a health insurance plan. Because let's be honest, I mean, people don't need insurance until we need insurance.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm here to just educate you and make you more well-versed in the insurance world, because if it was easy, and insurance is not easy. It's very confusing. It's very complex. And depending on where you're at, either it's individual, Medicare, group, it's very confusing. But that's exactly where we step in. And so we're here to educate our clients. And again, there's no fee for doing that.
Nice. So when can individuals and families shop for their plans?
Yeah, great question. Well, that's coming up just around the corner, and this is nationwide. So if you are an individual and family that do not receive health insurance from an employer or other markets, that actually starts November 1st and goes to December 15th of each year. Okay, so that's the time frame that any family members or families, they can opt onto a plan. They can leave their plans, change their plans, switch carriers, really do whatever they want during that time frame. However, any changes that they make during November 1st through December 15th will not start until January 1st of 2022. Okay, so this is just the time frame to make any changes, switch carriers, but whatever change you make will start January 1, as all deductibles and max out-of-pockets will be resetting January 1st. So it's really, really important to shop those and at least review your insurance, because networks change, premiums change, co-pays, max out-of-pockets. Every year, everything changes.
So is that one of the services that you guys provide is, you guys are tracking somebody's doctors and stuff, and to say like, hey, your doctor's in this network now, or do they have to reach out to you?
No, so actually right before, and again, this is where my team, I really love my team. They do a great job, but we have an internal system where we keep accounts on everybody. And when we are scheduling for appointments each year, my team is updating addresses, updating doctors and prescriptions lists. That way we have the most updated information on you. And then again, prior to our appointment, we'll have our research team look at all the networks available in your area. And then depending on which carriers are in your area, we will see which coverages will match the best. So we do look at that every year. And that's also something that clients can do on their own. It's not just something that we can do. But again, I mean, that's why you use a broker, so you don't have to think about that kind of stuff. You let the professionals do what they do, so you can go on with your day and live a healthy life without thinking about health insurance. So
Exactly. So, I mean, I think this kind of goes over the next question I had is how is your agency different than the hundreds out there? I think you've already answered that question, unless you have anything to add to it.
Yeah, no, like I think that I mentioned that we really pride ourselves on tech. And we're kind of like a one-stop shop, so we can actually handle individuals all the way from birth through retirement and everything in between. So we do everything, like I mentioned, from the comfort of your home or your office. However, we do have folks that want to come in the office and do a face-to-face meeting. And if that's the case, we have an office down in Denver that absolutely will allow you to do that. So we're pretty open. But I really think the biggest difference is that we have a full concierge team and a full integrated insurance concept, where you can literally just make one phone call and get all of your insurance needs done at once. So you one agent, one account, and everything's handled in-house with us.
All right. And you went over how premiums are priced. It's based on age, tobacco use, and there was one other thing.
Geographic location for
Geographic location. There you go.
Got it. Yep. So that's going to be for individuals and families across the board. And then pretty same for Medicare. And then we also offer small group insurance, and that's a little bit different. But yes, you're completely right on the individual side. It's based on age, geographic location, and non-tobacco use.
Okay. And as far as Medicare open enrollment, is that the same or is that different times or how does that work?
No, great question. And so Medicare is for those over the age of 65 typically, or those on Social Security disability. That open enrollment period actually starts tomorrow. So October 15th through December 7th of each year is the annual enrollment period for Medicare. And that time frame is for any individual who is already on Medicare. So you're 65 plus, either retired. That's the time frame where you can change your standalone drug plan, which is also known as a PDP plan, Peter Dog Peter, or you can change your Medicare Advantage plan each year. So that's the time frame, and I don't know where they come up with those random dates. But again, same thing. If you make any changes during that October 15th through December 7th time frame, those plan changes do not take effect until January 1st.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong. When they can start shopping for this, like basically right before they get 65 and basically start the plan. And then their birthday is like January 1st, right?
Yeah.
For layman's terms.
Yes. So actually with Medicare, what's nice about Medicare is if you're already on it, this is the time frame. And that's another thing that our company does. We reach out to all of our clients 6 months prior to them turning 65. And the reason why we do that is we really like to do an educational piece prior to 65 because there are so many moving parts and pieces with Medicare that I don't even know how anybody does it without an agent. Like, it's insane. I still am learning every day for Medicare. I can't even imagine people doing this on their own. So we reach out to all of our clients 6 months prior to them turning 65. And we do basically a VIP educational workshop. Okay. So it takes about 30 minutes to review everything, but I literally do a full 360 overview of Medicare. That way clients are prepared 3 months prior to them turning 65. And then that's where I also step in to assist my clients when shopping their plans, and they can start that 3 months prior to their 65th birthday. But again, we see those timeframes coming and those really important dates. And we like to say that we over communicate with our clients. We send emails out, phone calls, reminders to remind them that these timeframes are coming, to make sure that they're just getting it taken care of so we can avoid any late penalties or fees that are assessed.
All right, cool. Do you do anything as far as small group or anything with your company?
Yeah, so we actually we can handle anyone from 2 employees all the way up to 500 employees. Our sweet spot is really anywhere from 10 employees to about 100. But Colorado's small group employer rule, and actually a lot of business owners don't know this, but the small group rule in Colorado is you only have to have 1 employee that is not related to you that works 30 plus hours to qualify for small group insurance. Okay. And when I say not related to you, it just can't be like your wife working for you. Okay. It could be if your mother-in-law worked for you and did not live in the same household, that suffices. But the small group rule is just 1 employee that's not related to you that worked 30 plus hours. There's huge tax incentives for an employer to offer that. And then let's be honest here. I mean, if you're trying to retain top talent, it is very, very difficult to do that without a group plan or benefits. So in that same space, we work with multiple carriers. So if you're a small group, there's a special niche for smaller groups and carriers, all the way up to, like I said, your Fortune 500s and everything in between. With those, we like to be creative. We use, use technology in that space too, which we do offer no cost online enrollment platforms for all small groups. We create benefit booklets. So these smaller groups, that may have less than 10 employees, we really can put in front of their employees something that looks like what a Fortune 500 would have: a benefit booklet, an online enrollment platform, and a full concierge team that helps with all those issues on their behalf. So it's basically having a PEO without the fee.
So is there for the group insurance for businesses, is the open enrollment the same thing, or is there no open enrollment? Can they switch whenever? What are the rules for that?
It all depends on how they groups have it set. So if you've got a group that's setting a calendar year, those are going to all start coming up for renewal in January. If it's a plan year, typically those are 90 days from like when they started. So for example, if you did a calendar year and your open enrollment is going to be starting on January 1st, most of those probably have already started. We typically like to do those 90 days out. But again, that's going to be group is a little bit different because it opens up so many more opportunities than you do on the individual side, which again is why we kind of pride ourselves in being able to be creative to offer tons of different benefit packages to employees depending on what their needs are.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Well, now we got that one covered. I don't think that was on. I think that was a curveball instead
That
of.
but that was a good one.
All right. So let's see here. What's another one? Let's see. We already talked about when people can switch their insurance because of enrollment periods. Who can I add to my plan? That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. So you can, so that is a really good question. So with Obamacare, all pre-limit, and that's actually our company only does qualifying health plans, which is through the Affordable Care Act. So we have to follow the same rules, which is basically Obamacare. And so during the open enrollment period time, which is that November 1st through December 15th, you can add your family members, drop your family members, really do whatever you want during that time frame. Okay. Outside of the open enrollment period time, we call that special enrollment period. Okay. So what basically means that you have to have a qualifying event outside of the open enrollment period time, which the main common ones are losing job-based coverage, turning 26, moving, change in marital status, leaving incarceration. There's not a lot of those that I get, but there's a couple of other ones on there. And then that's the time where you can add people onto your plan, but you only have 60 days from the time your qualifying event happens to add somebody onto your plan. Okay, so outside of November 1st and December 15th, you got to have a move, job loss coverage, turning 26, change of marital status, having a baby, something on those events in order to add or switch plans, unfortunately.
So is the move like an out of state, or is it like regional, like, hey, I'm in Colorado Springs and this network doesn't cover where I'm at now type of thing?
No, so typically it's zip code. So like if you're moving from, let's say, Elizabeth, Colorado to El Paso, or Elizabeth to Colorado Springs, that's considered a qualified event. That's a move. Okay. So, but typically, like if I'm moving from my house to across the street,
yeah,
you're still in the same network. So
okay, sounds good. All right, that's good. And then you went over that. You guys go over how we know what the doctors cover, right?
Like as far as copays and coinsurance. So yeah, so I actually, during our meeting, when we're going over the plans, I have this really nice list of, you need to put in your demographics, such as your age, your geographic location, and my quoting tool will bring up all of the plans that are available to you, which there are a ton in Colorado, which where we're based out of. So there's a lot of consumer option. But I go over everything. So copays, coinsurance, max out of pocket. So again, I'm really here as your educator and to make sure you understand what you're purchasing, because again, health insurance can be very, very confusing with deductibles, coinsurance, max out of pockets, and it's never the same. You know, things change every single year. So yes, I do go over everything. That way my clients know exactly what they're purchasing and how it's being covered.
Sounds good. All right. And then let's see. I guess the next ones is what states you're personally licensed in, and also what states the business is licensed in.
Yeah, so us as a company, we're licensed in over 25 different states. I am personally licensed in Colorado, California, Texas, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and Washington. So we can service all of those states. And again, I'm contracted with multiple carriers. So if you're in California, I work with all those carriers. If you're in Arizona, I work with all those carriers as well.
All right. And you said it's mainly the Western United States. Do you know what the dividing line is?
No, it's really different. So it's kind of strange because, like, for example, like Washington, the market's not like it is in Colorado. They don't want to work with brokers in Washington. So there's only a selected few agents that, can write business in Washington. It's not like lucrative like California, Colorado, and Texas, where those states are like very, 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 very competitive. So up in Washington, like I mentioned, but every state's different. So my Wyoming, I'm contracted in Wyoming. However, Wyoming has one carrier, okay, and that's Anthem. So there's not much choice. We're not really shopping plans in Wyoming, right? I'm here educating you on which plan we're going to pick from Anthem. That makes sense. So every state's different, but I am more than happy to go over everything based on the states that I'm in. It just is different per state.
Okay, cool. Let me see. Let's see. All right, we'll take a look at the team right now. Get all warm and fuzzy. So you're there.
Yep, that's my beautiful team. So we actually just got portraits the last time I was in Colorado. We've actually added some people. So that picture is missing a little bit of people, but you got the basically the management team in the back, Josiah on the right hand. He's actually the owner of the company. You've got the VP in the middle, and then the shorter gentleman on the left-hand side there, he handles our wealth management. And then you got all the wonderful gals in the front that are my concierge, research, account management, just amazing people. So those are the faces of the people that you'll be talking to that help with application, billing issues, claim issues, all that good stuff.
All right, great. And let's see here. If anybody wants to get a hold of Tara to get a quote or get more information, you can contact her by phone at 720-330-2283. It's not a texting line, it's her business line. So I might talk to her about getting that technology fixed, because I've been trying to get Tara on here for a little bit, and that was one of the things. I was trying to text that phone number.
I was like, I'm not getting your text, Jason. And then, yeah.
Or you can email her at tara.lane@designhealth.com.
Yes, sir.
And for all of your supplementing and estimating needs, you can contact me at 720-296-6618. And my email is jason@furtadolaw.solutions. Any final thoughts, Tara?
No, I think this was wonderful. Just like I mentioned, if you guys have any questions or concerns, I pride myself on the education piece. So, you're never a bother if you just got a 5-second question. Even if you don't use our services, we just ask that if you're happy with us and pleased with our communication, our customer service, that you just refer us to others that need assistance. One thing I would mention, Jason, is that for those Medicare folks who may be needing help this open enrollment or maybe turning 65 in the future, unfortunately, Medicare is extremely regulated. Therefore, I cannot reach out to you. You would have to directly reach out to me. But again, as soon as you give me that go ahead, I am more than happy to get you on my phone, send me an email, answer any questions that you guys have regarding health insurance, because like I said, it can be complex. So it doesn't have to be. So if you want to take the hell out of your health insurance, that's where we come in.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Tara. And powering through the food poisoning.
I know, thanks. Let's hope that we just get better.
Yeah.